Greetings, fellow scribes! Welcome back to the archive. It is time once again for a Tales from the Archive. Tales from the Archive are where I talk about something that happened at a table I have either played in or ran. And they kind of give an illustration of sort of how I like to handle gaming in general. And they also kind of help provide inspiration, I hope, for other players and GMs out there. This week, I'm talking about what happened when one player did something that there was nothing that said he couldn't in the starter module for the Age of Rebellion books for the Fantasy Flight Star Wars game. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy as I tell you how one player completely broke a module. Starter modules for RPGs are made with a simple purpose in mind. They are made to be able to be run and played by a group with any level of experience. Whether you're talking people who've never played an RPG before, to grizzled veterans of 1,000 games. And I've often felt that the people who write these modules don't game around crazy people. And they really need to. This is how my players took the starter module for Fantasy Flight Games Age of Rebellion off the rails. And it was a blast to run. So, here's what the game was supposed to go like, or the module was supposed to go like. The players break into an Imperial facility. They disable or destroy the Imperial shuttle in there. The commander of the facility flees, forcing them to chase him on speeder bikes. And then they get a boss fight with an ATST. Well, it didn't quite work out that way for my group. It starts off like it's supposed to. The players have started in the jungle and they've worked their way into positions in the garage, basically, of the Imperial base. And they're setting up ambush positions. One of my players, who's playing a sort of heavy weapons operator, got into the ATST that was in the garage. And he asked a simple question. Hey, can I start this up? And it was like, let me check. I checked the rules. And, well, there's nothing that says he can't. And so I'm like, sure. You'll have to roll good. And you'll have to roll your pilot planetary. You have to roll computer to hack it. But yeah, you could probably start it up. Well, he rolls good. He rolls ridiculously good. And he ends up getting it set up for a quick start when the Imperials come in, when the Stormtroopers come into the bay. And he ends up turning what was supposed to have been a close and tightly fought fight into a one-sided slaughter. Because the Stormtroopers weren't geared for having an ATST open up on them. Then the rest of the group rushes the door, holds it open while he gets out. While he gets out of the ATST, and they get in. All right, so they are now inside the building, and one of them goes, "Hey, I've got these explosives. We've got this door here. What? Can we seal this off? Make it so it doesn't open again?" And I'm like, okay. Roll good. And the player that does it happens to be the Demolitions character. And he rolls a triumph. So he is able to completely lock the doors down by blowing out the mechanism that would open them. So let's stop and assess here. They've taken out the first group of stormtroopers, the first squad of stormtroopers. They have now sealed the base so that the only way out is through the Imperial shuttle. Which, by the way, is one of their targets. So they go through the base. They find their way to where the shuttle is. And here's where this gets funny. So, yes, the players were expected by the riders to slice one or two of the turrets, that are guarding the shuttle. The purpose of these was to deal with the people coming out of the shuttle. And, of course, since they would have only sliced one or two, the other turrets would be taking down those two turrets. Well, they kind of sliced all four. Like, literally, the 4 players ran to the turrets and sliced them. They used destiny points to flip a proficiency die, and they managed to get all the turrets sliced. And they targeted first all the Imperials coming out of the shuttle. And then we take our segue, give them their chance to rest while everyone's coming up. They spend their 10 XP, blah 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 blah, because this was meant to be the break point. And at this point, the commander of the base is trying to flee, and he runs into the locked doors. He sends his stormtroopers, the remaining stormtroopers, to secure the shuttle. And the players slaughter them all with the help of the 4 turrets. Again, remember, they were only supposed to slice 1 or 2. But they kind of went crazy and did something that they probably shouldn't have been able to do. But everything worked. Nothing was said you couldn't do it by the rules. So they did it. And then it was a matter of they got to play hide and seek through the complex looking for the commander. And yeah, they got him. They captured him, not killed him. stole the Imperial shuttle, took it back to their temporary base, i.e., where their ship had landed on the planet, flying treetop level, of course, so it wouldn't get easily picked up, and then they left with a prisoner they weren't supposed to have had, because he was supposed to have died in the boss fight with the ATST. And that is how my players utterly broke a module. This is why I say the people who write starter modules need to plan for crazy, because they just don't deal with it well. Anyway, next week I am going to talk about, start my next in-depth series, and I'm going to be talking about the races in Spelljammer. So until then, I'd like you all to remember to have fun and keep gaming.